Hello, welcome to my podcast. This is Shahid Imran, and today we have with ourselves Amy. Thanks you for joining with us. Okay. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. It was great to meet you in Estonia. It's always great to meet people around the world. And thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
Okay, it's nice to meet you. So today we are going to talk about sourcing and each and of the stuff Amy have to tell to my audience. And it would be highly appreciated if we can discuss the AI and what's going there in uh, these all of the things. And I loved your energy in Estonia, the way you were telling to the people and each and everything. So I would love to listen and share with my audience.
Wonderful. Yeah. Can talk about whatever you want to talk about.
I think we should start with the sourcing with AI and all of the stuff you have developed because we have seen the industry from past few years, and we have seen it is growing and the technological things are changing, and I think we should talk about that.
Sure. Well, I think one of the big things about sourcing is that, you want to find a unique product. You want to find something that someone else isn't going to immediately compete against you with, especially not your factory. And now,
Okay.
the latest thing that's happening is that a lot of factories are now listing their products directly on e-commerce websites like Amazon and TikTok and Walmart, and so what's happening is, what it used to be in 2015, 2016, 2017, you could basically pick any product on Alibaba and you could put it on Amazon and you could make a lot of money. It would sell very well. And then, it started getting a little bit competitive because everyone was kind of using that strategy. And people started saying, oh, well, you have to differentiate now, right? You really have to differentiate and change the product a little bit. But the problem is people will differentiate, but they won't protect their differentiation. They won't protect their idea. It's not patented. There's no protection, or they don't have protection around their supply chain. So what ends up happening is one person thinks of something cool to change their product, and either their factory or somebody else just copies them because there's nothing to stop your competitors from copying you, right? So succeeding in e-commerce into the future, it requires us to innovate at a different level, and not just innovate. Yes, we can all use AI to innovate, and I can show you how to do that, or we can talk about how to do that. But we not only have to innovate, we have to apply levels of protection around our supply chain, because, and not only around our supply chain, but also around our business, whether that is a patent, whether that is a design copyright, right, for a unique design that we create. But that's the most important thing, because if someone else can just come in and copy you, then your ability to maintain the sales volume quickly dissipates. Unless your business model is to just keep launching, constantly keep launching, and realize that your life cycles of that product is going to be very, very short. So what are some things that you can do to build that protection, that moat around your business, right? So the first thing is, when you find that product that you want to sell, maybe you use software to do that. Maybe you know of a problem that you're trying to solve for people. Then, you want to decide, how are you going to innovate on it? And then you have to answer a few questions. You have to know your market. Who are you exactly selling to? You don't want to sell to everyone, because it's, you're not going to get there, right? A lot of people are saying, well, it could be for anyone. It could be for moms. It could be for dads. It could be for kids. It could be for anyone. Well, the problem with that is it's very, very hard to compete. Customers, when they shop, the buyer mindset is this for me? right? Is this for me, the cat lover? Is this for me, the mom? Is this for my kid, right? They don't, if you're trying to sell to everyone, it's very, very hard and people don't connect with it. And then they don't make a purchasing decision with you. So the first thing you need to decide is, what is the market that I'm targeting? And that's
Okay.
one way you can differentiate. Maybe this cup that I have here could be sold to the kids market. What do I need to do to change it up to make it great for kids, right? It's already something very popular. How can I change it up to change the market that it's directed to?
Okay,
So
so we have, you're trying to say in 2015, there was a thing going around product development. We have to develop the product, but there wasn't any kind of some kind of a protection with the product, and obviously with there wasn't any kind of patent, and we were not protecting it anyhow. And suppliers and I mean the factory owners were going to copy it. And now we have to do it. Now we are doing something else. We have to decide the specific market in that product also, because
back in
but
2015, in 2015, you didn't have to do any of that because factories weren't competing against you. Now Amazon's has gone directly to factories and taught them how to sell on Amazon. And so now you have to differentiate, or you have to realize that you're going to be competing with factories who are selling at factory direct pricing, which is very hard.
yeah, which is very hard. Okay,
And as you
so
mentioned, yeah, the first part of differentiation is you could be focused on your market, right? Like, who are you targeting with this product? Even if it's a very popular product, you could do a better job. You could introduce it to a new market. You could differentiate it in that way. That's one way to differentiate, is to change your market direction. So if everyone's selling these to everybody in home and kitchen, right, and you change yours up and make it for kids, or however you want to do that, you obviously still have to look for opportunities in that market. There are already some of these for kids, but knowing your market, that's one of the first things I ask people when they come to me with a product idea and they go, Amy, I want to launch this. I go, okay, why should I buy yours and not the competition? Not from the guy who already has 6,000 reviews, not from the person who has lower pricing than you. Why should I buy yours? And a lot of people will look at me with a blank stare and go, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah. And if you don't know the answer to that question, you've failed before you've even begun.
Yes. So, what are your comments about the hype is going in market about China, about India, about Mexico, about other countries? What thoughts do you have on this? Do we have to source every time from China, or you guys doing also from other continents like from Vietnam? I'm from Pakistan actually, so we are also doing something from there. So, what are your thoughts on that?
So supply chain diversity is another way to protect your business, right? Another way to build a moat around your business. But it's important and what a lot of people have done is, I have a trade show in Mexico and I have a trade show in Jordan. And, we just had our Jordan trade show. And
yeah, I was looking. It was great. It was great.
Oh, thank you for
Congratulations.
Awesome. And in our Jordan trade show, there's a lot of products that are popular in the Middle East that have not yet been introduced in America. And people forget that there is a whole Middle Eastern population that lives in America, right? That are looking for those products from home. So even if you don't, you can't find it cheaper in India, or you can't find it cheaper in Jordan, what you might be able to find in sourcing from other countries is things that are in demand that have not yet been introduced to your market. So, that was something that we really pushed during our Jordan trade show is, hey, we have all these food brands that are already exporting. We have all these beauty and like Dead Sea minerals, which are very, very popular, that have been introduced, right? So that haven't been introduced to the U.S. market yet. So diversity in your supply chain and looking for opportunities there, and then also selling to other countries. So China, for example, they love to buy American brands. They love it. They will pay so much for it. They're crazy about it. And a lot of American brands, as they're growing, they don't realize that they could sell in other countries and be very popular in other countries. They haven't even, kind of looked at that. And so there's sourcing diversity. And then let's say you're sourcing a popular product. Let's go back to my water cup right here, right?
That's famous water cup.
Yeah.
Very famous. Yeah.
If I'm sourcing this, then I need to think about, okay, what does the market want, right? What does the market want to pay for this? What is the market price? If I'm selling this in the United States of America, right? What is the market paying for this? And then what I like to do is go back and decide on my target price for that. So my target price, I usually try to do a 10x, at least a 10x multiplier, because what that does for me. So for example, a 10x would mean like if this product was selling for $20, I would not want to pay more than $2 from the manufacturer. Because as we know now, Amazon takes 40% of margin in many cases. So we need to have room to grow. And a lot of sellers that I work with, they do not have any margin. They're upside down in their products. And they come to me and they say, Amy, why am I not making any money? Like, I'm selling, but there's no money in my bank account. And when we look at their net profit that's left over after advertising, they don't even have enough money left over to buy another unit. And I want you to have enough money left over to buy 2.5, maybe 3 more units so that you can scale quickly. So that's the thing is when we talk about supply chain diversity, if my target price for this is $2 and I can source it from Mexico for $4 and I can source it from China for $1, where am I going to source it from? Of course, I have to talk about shipping and everything else. And I'm not implying that Mexico is more expensive, but we have to think about the economics for our businesses. So it depends on the product. It depends on the opportunity. And it definitely depends on the economics so that you can scale.
And I would add the most important thing, it depends on the product material, because everything we can source from China. There are some kind of materials we can source from the better in Turkey, some better in India, and there are some kind of materials we can source from other countries. And if you look closely for them, and there is a huge opportunity. We can source, as you were mentioning, they are really crazy for the American brands. As I'm living in Europe, and there are like let me give you an example. Coffee machines, they do love, and in Middle East they do love like Italian coffee machine, Italian brands. They really, and they are willing to buy it expensive. They are willing to buy expensive, just made in Italy, made in France, made in Spain, made in Portugal, or somewhere. Yeah, that's another that was wonderful tips, and it was a really nice discussion on this point. So now let's come the favorite topic, AI.
AI.
Yeah, AI.
What do you want to know about AI?
I want to know about how we can utilize it in sourcing.
In sourcing, well, I mean, when you're talking about sourcing, we
can talk about whether you want to talk about.
Okay. Well, I mean, in terms of using AI for sourcing, you should really back up to product development, right? Because before you source a product, and this is what we were talking about before, when I was talking about, hey, you've got to differentiate, you have to make something different, right? You should be talking, if you have an idea for how to differentiate on a product, you could talk to a patent agent before you move forward with it to see like, hey, is this even protectable? And we can use AI for all of that. We can use AI to come up with, to research the market, right? We can feed market data into it and say, hey, help me come up with ideas based on this market data on how to change this product. We can feed our competitors' products and listings into AI and say, hey, I want to target this customer and I want to sell a better version of this. Here are my competitors' images and listings. These are the top sellers on Amazon, for example. I can literally copy and paste in their images, copy and paste in their listings, and I can ask AI, I can say, hey, give me ideas. And oh, by the way, here's the market I'm trying to target. Here's what they like. Here's what was trending, right? How can I apply this trend and this market data to this product and then also beat my competitors? Or you could feed in keywords. You could say, these are the top keywords that are underserved for this product. So you could use a program like Data Dive and you could find keyword opportunities to serve, right? So I, for example, just did a presentation at Sellerfest Online. I believe you can find it. It's by Orange Click. It's on YouTube. I did that last week, and Anthony Lee and I talked about how to, develop products and do a competitive analysis with AI. And I was talking about how I wanted to develop a creatine powder for women, for older women, because there's a lot of us in the population, and there's the keyword creatine powder for women, but there are no products specifically targeting women in my segment. So I used that market data and I fed in all of the top competitors and I explained like, hey, there's nobody really selling to this keyword. And I used also the knowledge that I have about, what women my age want, what all the health and wellness books are saying that we need to do, the amount we need to take, the other things we need to take along with it. And then I fed all of that into AI, and AI helped me not only formulate the exact formula that I wanted to create, but also develop a brand, develop the right colors to use on the bottle based on the top sellers, the right font for the logo. All of that was done in a simple session, just feeding data and asking questions. And that's what we can do now that we could never do before. And it really enables the entrepreneur to bring incredible things to market that are differentiated in a way that hasn't been possible before this.
This is really, really amazing. You have talked about that is something as you have mentioned, entrepreneurs can something do they were not able to do in the past. That's really something you have added the value. I will look. You have mentioned the podcast with Anthony. I will look in the details. I will go today after the podcast. So I will look into the detail. Thank you. So yeah, that's incredible. So how do you differentiate when you analyze the brands, like for the supply chain analysis? Let's suppose how would you analyze that brand? How you will what in today's we all know Amazon is going to increase the pieces again and again, and it will happen. It will keep and this will happen again and again. So what will you do if there is a brand he is doing 2 millions per year? In too much competition, as you have mentioned, there is no net margins already. We have to pay the sourcing, we have to pay the shipping, we have to pay for the inspection, we have to go pay for the storage cost, we have to pay for the advertising fees. There are bundles of fees. But what really sellers can do for sure, what really sellers to have the options for optimizing their profit margins, what we can do as an analyst, supply chain analyst, or sourcing strategist. What really do we have option for the bigger brands?
Yeah, the the biggest thing that you can do is optimize your supply chain. And I host trips to China twice a year. We go to the Canton Fair, and I have 7-figure sellers coming with me to China every year that have never went in person, that have never sourced in person, yet they're running multi-million-dollar brands. And as you mentioned, all of them complain that their margins are being squeezed. And the average savings when they go in person, so not only do we teach them how to have the right conversations with suppliers, how to understand how things are made, where costs come from, how to negotiate those costs in a win-win situation with their supplier. We teach them all of that before they come on our sourcing trips. But the average savings a seven-figure seller comes to or leaves our China trip with is over 50%. All of you are paying too much to your suppliers. Do you know why? Because you're sourcing online and you're paying a middleman who's probably paying another middleman, even though that factory on Alibaba.com is a 5-diamond factory and it's been there for 10 years. It could just be a dude in his apartment, literally sourcing from other factories and upcharging you. Every single seller that has ever come with me on a sourcing trip, and I'm passionate about this because it's incredible, the change. Every single seller who has ever come with me on a sourcing trip has saved a significant amount of money and has learned things that when you go see how things are made and see how factories operate, because we do factory tours, everything like that, it changes the way you source from that point forward, because now you know how it works and you know what questions to ask. So it's really, really, really important that you understand and you go in person. You've got to go. If you're going to come with me to Mexico, you're going to come with me to Jordan, you're going to come with me to China, wherever we're going, you got to go. You need to meet suppliers. You need to go to trade shows. That is how you optimize your supply chain. Because until then, you're just going to keep overpaying and you're not going to know what you don't know. The other thing that a lot of sellers discover after they come with me on these sourcing trips is they discover what questions to ask their factories. And they learn that many, many times they are sourcing. So let's say you're sourcing from a factory and you don't really know what else they make. Guess what? You don't even know if they're making your products. In many cases, at least half the time, sellers are sourcing from factories who are just sourcing their products from other factories.
They are just traders, and 50%. Yeah, they are traders. You are mentioning right. Yes.
It's just the amount of information that you have no idea what you're dealing with until you actually go. You're losing the battle. And, a manufacturer, in many cases in China, they're going to give you exactly what you ask for. And that's why we teach, hey, you got to go on a factory tour. You have to meet that factory. You have to find out what else they make. Because when we're developing products, we want to work with materials that they're already used to working with. That saves us a ton of money. It's not just in going to the trade show. It's in understanding the questions you need to ask, how things are made, and in having true partnerships with your suppliers and understanding what's the inner workings of that factory, where the savings comes in. It's where you work together to really, really have a win-win situation. Your factory wants you to sell more because that means they grow, right? But if you're going to keep paying, if you paid them too much from the very beginning because you didn't understand how the product was made or the inner workings of that factory or what your target price should have been from the start or how to negotiate or how to have a conversation about any of that, if you didn't understand that from the start and you've been paying too much all these years, what do you think the chances are of your factory dropping the price? You've been paying too much all these years. So in some cases they do. In fact, a lot of sellers who tell their factories that they're coming to China on one of our China trips, immediately that factory kind of realizes, oh man, they're coming to China. They're going to realize that our competition is charging them far less, and they immediately drop the prices. We've had so many sellers come with us, and in our group chats before we leave on our China trips, they're like, oh my gosh, like they just dropped my prices 20%. It's like, yeah, because they know you're about to go to Canton Fair and see 20 other factories that are willing to give you a much better price. So that's the thing is when you're talking about sourcing, you want to fix your margins and you want to have more innovative products and you want to have protection around that. you have got to go. You need to go and really, and I get it. It's nothing wrong with starting your business. We have a lot of people who haven't even started with their first product yet and still come with us to China. But it's very important if you're trying to grow your business and you have never been, it's time to make a trip.
Okay, okay. And yeah, these are really really great tips for the sellers who are actually doing on a they have the brands on the bigger level. Obviously, as I have did the hundreds of actually this is a thing. I'm not just I would say in that continent in America and in North America and South America, the sellers don't really negotiate very much. They're just every time concerned about quality. We already we already know that we will get the good quality in less price. We know that we can get it, but due to the concerns of high quality, the supplier manufacturers will increase their prices, and they eventually trade with high paying. Let's suppose if you were going to source that product in $1,000, they will end in sourcing with $2,500 with the same quantity with the same amount. I have seen this dozens of times, and I can imagine it with multi-million dollars brand. As you were mentioning correctly, if they will hear you are coming to the China, they will drop the prices to 20%, and eventually they will end up sourcing 50% less prices.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really really great. So yeah, let's come to the last part of the podcast. So far we have discussed 3 to 4 topics, and these are really, really great. So, what the last suggestion would you love to give to every seller who is selling on the Amazon? And obviously, there is war going between Amazon, TikTok, Temu, and the e-commerce is like fighting, like a boxing match is going between two teams. There is a TikTok and Amazon. Here is Temu, and here is Shen. And what you guys are doing actually with it, and how you guys are managing it, and what advantages can take a brand? What is the benefits for the brand? Obviously, there is fight for the markets, and it's not a new thing. It will keep happening. So, what are the advantages actually for the brands, and they can take it?
Yeah, so if you're a reseller, times are changing, right? Amazon is really, really, the days of just listing a product and reselling it and trying to make it work, and then you've got another random product over here. Like, Amazon's shutting down a lot of resellers. It's really, really getting tough. But I'm happy to report that there are a ton of resellers that are absolutely crushing it. And what's the difference between the resellers that are crushing it and the resellers that are struggling and basically playing whack-a-mole, going, okay, I got this product shut down. Now I got to find a new source for this product. What should I do? Oh my gosh, right? The difference is the mindset of the seller and the business model that they set up. So if you think about it, distributors have existed for years. Distributors are great, right? Those distributors I sell my pet products to a distributor, and they basically sell it to all of their channels, right? So stop calling yourself a reseller and start thinking like a distributor. All of the resellers that I know that are doing really, really well, they've gone after licenses for major brands. They have they've really filled out an entire niche. So like, let's say I'm going to create a brand for my reseller. Let's say I'm going to create a store that's all health and beauty. And I'm going to grow 1 or 2 health and beauty products and get them going on Amazon, TikTok, whatever, right? And then I'm going to use that success to continue to source even more health and beauty products. And now I'm building out a store. Now I have my own Sephora, right? I have my own Ulta Beauty, right? Whatever it is. If I'm a pet reseller, if I'm selling pet products, right? And maybe I started with a pet product and it was doing really, really well. And now I'm like, oh man, how can I source more of that pet product, or what should be my next pet product? Open your mindset, broaden your mind, and go, how do I start an entire pet store where I'm sourcing to fill that store with great products? So when you're reaching out to brands to work directly with them, they're going to take you a lot more seriously if you're actually focused on a niche and focused on serving a customer that they care about. And you're going to be able to grow very, very quickly. And you're going to be able to continue to source and get exclusive deals with bigger brands. And you're going to be able to grow an incredible company. And it's not just going to be one guy or one gal, sourcing one product and hoping to be able to find replenishments, right? Broaden your mindset, open a store, right? Be the Walmart, be the niche, right? Be the health and beauty section in Walmart. Be the Ulta, be whatever it is, but pick your niche and really think of yourself as a store and a brand as a store. Start your own branded store, right? And then you can sell other people's stuff and they're going to take you a lot more seriously than if you're doing this kind of old wholesale model that was taught, where, I'm going to reach out to these brands and try to get exclusive deals to sell their products on Amazon. Those are a dime a dozen. There's a million people reaching out to them. They don't want to hear from you. But if you're reaching out to them saying, hi, we're a pet store, we're a pet distributor, pet store. We sell in the following channels. We've helped the following brands grow from here to here. They're going to take you give you a totally different answer. So if you're a reseller, that's what you need to do to change. And that's how you grow and you become a multi-million-dollar seller without all of the pain of just reaching out and getting turned down every time.
Yeah, both approaches are different. If as you have mentioned, the difference of the store, if they will reach out for the brands, and if you are going to sell on wholesale, yeah, going to sell, and obviously there are hundreds of sellers are reaching them on daily basis, and why they will even bother to answer them. Yeah, that's really, really helpful. So I think that's it. So we have covered lots of things. I would love to say thank you for coming to my podcast, for providing the value to my audience, and it was really, really helpful. Keep providing. You're already doing great. And when you are coming to the Italy, I think there is a fair coming, and hopefully we will meet again.
Yes, for sure. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you.